All right, looks like everybody's coming in. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to our special guest lecture by Ms. Joanne Kim. We are very lucky to be able to really hear firsthand from somebody who has an extensive background as being a sales and marketing in the hospitality industry, and specifically in the hotel industry. Joanne has experience in a lot of different hotels, different properties, different classes, and also in different countries. So she's been very gracious to be able to join us today. As I just reminded you from those of us who attended the 9:30 a.m. guest lecture by Lihan Mi, I will be happy to take questions at any time. So if you feel, if you're okay, just in the chat, just do an open chat and ask a question, and then I will be sure to ask questions to Mrs. Kim. And also, if you are uncomfortable to send the question in front of everybody, you can message me directly, and then that way you won't be embarrassed or anything. So, but it's always good to get questions from you. The reason I like the open chat is other people can see the question, so I'm sure other people have a very similar question or they're thinking about the same thing. So without much more ado, I'd like to turn it over to Joanne. Yep, Joanne, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. As Bradley just made a bit of an introduction of myself. I'm personally very, very excited to have this opportunity. He mentioned, me as a lecturer, but I'm not a professional speaker, obviously. So yeah, nevertheless, today what I'm gonna have with you guys makes me very exciting. So let me try my best to share what I'm doing and then what I have been doing in the past. So I do hope you enjoy the time with me today. So can I just start the sharing screen now? Is it okay? Okay, sure. Any good to see you guys. So I'm gonna show my face, like a bit of an end of the session. So okay, share. Screen. Okay, I'm currently working at Grand Hyatt Seoul, located in Namsan. I'm pretty much sure everyone knows where the hotel is. Actually, I joined this hotel about 2 years ago, and then I came back to Korea about actually 2017. So now it's going to be almost 4 years and 5 years. So as Bradley briefly mentioned, I started my hospitality career in Dubai. So stayed there for about 6 years, followed by Malaysia and Singapore, and finally back to my home country in Korea. So between the session, between the topic I'm gonna talk to you, let me try, my best to share about my experience, and then also, just take a note, any question you have and any kind of things you'd like to know. So take a note and then feel free to ask me later on. As Bradley mentioned, I'm gonna have that session too. Today, what I'm gonna talk is, obviously I've been in hotel industry only as a sales and marketing. So some actually started hotel industry at the front office or other department. But personally, I've been working in hotel in the sales and marketing department for about 16 years. So I'm gonna talk about my story in sales in hotel industry. So since, I only have an hour session, so I thought about what I'm gonna talk to you today. So basically, I'm gonna talk about the sales department, and then about the positioning of a hotel. So what is related with the positioning hotel, and how impact to sales depending on the a positioning of hotel. And then lastly, I'm gonna talk about hotelier in sales. Okay. So basically department, I'm gonna talk to you like there is front office, right? Front office, we said the front desk, concierge, bell desk, housekeeping. I'm sure I don't need to talk about what this department is because it's really self-explanatory. So you should know about what this department is for. And then back office is sales and marketing. Of course, there are a lot more departments inside the back office, but what I'm gonna talk, what I'm gonna say is basically all this department I mentioned here, like front office, back office, especially sales and marketing in back office, are kind of like belonging to rooms. So in the hotel, before we talk about departments, there are a few divisions. Let's just say the rooms division is the biggest. And then under rooms, of course, we have a front office and back office, and also F&B, food and beverages. And then you don't really deal with, like this department. And then, but most important, like engineering department, admin means like purchasing, finance, and HR department. All these departments of course are in the hotel. But today, of course, like I'm from sales and marketing, so I'm gonna focus on sales and marketing. So what I'm selling, what I'm marketing, of course, rooms. A lot of friends of mine, like a captain asking me, so what are you selling? Joanne, you are saying you're a salesperson. What are you selling? Of course, I'm selling rooms. But like this is kind of a rooms in a hotel is not like a product you can shop at the E-Mart or home, like Home Plus or kind of like convenience store. And then same concept like flight seats. We have inventory, for example, like Grand Hyatt Seoul in Namsan, there is 615 rooms. But what I have to sell, the product I have to sell is 615 rooms, but every day 615 rooms. Today I have to sell 615 rooms, tomorrow again 615, after tomorrow 615, kind of that. So this is, like a basic product I'm selling and what sales and marketing is doing. And then simply say front office is a department who's directly engaged with the clients at the front desk, right? So back office. And then let me just go to sales marketing. So sales marketing, inside sales marketing, what kind of, like a division is there? Room sales, event sales, wedding sales, marketing communication, and digital marketing. Actually, just briefly, digital marketing was not that much important in the past when I started, like almost 16, 15 years ago. But now, as you can imagine, digital marketing gets more important and important. So I'm sure I don't need to just like explain why that digital marketing becomes more important. So room sales is like what I'm involved. And then inside of sales and marketing, room sales and event sales, wedding sales, actually basically these sects are belonging to the same department. So what we are saying, like I'm part of, like a sales department means you have to question back. Oh, means, like, are you selling rooms or events or wedding? What are you selling? You may ask, actually. But a lot of people are saying like a hotel sales, like it's just one department, but basically there are a few departments, as I mentioned. But my forte, because what I have been doing, like from the past until today, I'm more focused on the room sales actually, and then a bit, the event sale. So let's say, like talk about a bit of, like actual life. So in the hotel, as you can imagine, there are hotel guest rooms, right? And then food and beverage restaurants. And then what else? The function rooms. So I'm gonna just talk about a bit further on the next pages. So depending on what kind of a hotel you are in, you may take what sort of sales is more focused. Whether room sales is more focused, or event sales is more focused, or wedding sales is, like a more focused and important like that. That is totally related to what kind of a hotels you are working. So let's see this, what I have just mentioned. I'm gonna just come back here again, positioning. Sorry. Okay, positioning. I'm sure you know all these kind of hotels, but probably some of you have thought about what I'm gonna tell you, but some of you may not have thought about this point. So there are so many hotels in the world. Funny thing is, like, of course, I'm way older than you guys. I'm 100% sure. When I was younger, like teenagers, you know, to be honest, especially I'm not from Seoul. I'm from actually Daegu. So when I was younger, I never ever thought about to fly over to other countries and stay in 5-star hotel. Never thought about it. In case, you know, like any friend of mine, you know, like in my class, flew to even Jeju Island, we were saying, oh, wow, I'm so envious. Did you fly? Kind of that. But of course, you know, like this is kind of a really, you know, long time backstory, but in this, you know, like generation, I'm sure, you know, like you don't really need to worry about, you don't need to really dream about, you know, like take a flight with your family only, but you always can plan to take a flight with your friends, with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, like in this world, you know, staying in a hotel for you guys shouldn't be nothing, right? So, but for all kind of like those hotel, there are different segments. Let's just say luxury hotel, we say. So I try to like list hotel you may be familiar, especially in Korea. So let's just say luxury in Seoul, Park Hyatt in Samsung Station, some of you know, and then Conrad, Four Seasons, and Signiel. These hotels actually are categorized under luxury, but to be honest, Conrad and Four Seasons, I have to say that because in Korea, the Conrad Four Seasons, the brand itself is not really positioned correctly, especially Four Seasons. There are not that many hotels in the world compared to other Hilton or other brands. But when we talk about the Four Seasons, there is very, very strong name value. So it's very, very expensive, but the service-wise, quality-wise, everything, you know, like just, you know, like comes together with the price. So there is really strong brand value and reputation. But unfortunately, Four Seasons in Korea is not really in line with the global reputation. I have to say that. Conrad, the same thing. Seriously. And Park Hyatt and Signia. To be honest, Signia is a local hotel, but among four of these hotels, I'm sure Signia is most expensive. And then I think they have, you know, like even stronger value in Korea when it comes to service, when it comes to quality, or when it comes to price. And boutique hotel. Boutique hotel is kind of like a bit of a conceptual hotel. So trying to be a little bit away from the standard or traditional concept of hotel, like W hotels and then Rise Hotel in Hongdae. Actually, I never been there, but I was told by my friends saying this Rise Hotel is very famous in these days by 20s, kind of youngsters. And then L7 Myeongdong, kind of, these hotels are of course a hotel, but they're trying to be a little bit funky. They're trying to deliver a little bit, you know, like an untrend service. And then when you look at their, you know, even uniform, and then the appearance of the steps are, let's say their hairstyle or their costume, and then their even, you know, nail kind of things. When you just pay attention a bit, steps working in this hotel is not kind of like what I'm having. For example, Hyatt is very conservative hotel brand. I think nowadays it gets a little better, but when I was in Dubai, you know, like Hyatt is really well known as one of the most conservative hotel brand. So even until now, you know, when I'm working in the hotel, I totally wear black. So sometimes the HR say, you know, why don't you guys try to be a little bit, you know, like trendy? But when I just, you know, like try to wear some kind of like trendy color, trendy gel nail, trendy jewelry, HR is calling me, doing too much. you're kind of there. So what happened is a lot of colleagues said, I better not be spotted by HR. So let me just stick to black. So I have too many black suits, black, like shirts and black collar. Yeah, so that's a really funny story. But when I was in Dubai, I don't know whether anyone has ever been to Dubai, but everyone knows, like Dubai is obviously, like Middle East, very hot. And then during summer, like July and August, the temperature goes above 40 degrees, sometimes even reaching 45, 47 degrees. But, even in that city, hoteliers, I don't know, I never been to Dubai for the past 10 years. Hopefully things change this day, but when I was there, hoteliers working in Grand Hyatt, Dubai, the lady was wearing black skirt, black stocking, and then black shirt. Everything was black. So I was really literally very shocked that time, but that's what I'm saying. Hyatt itself is, like well known as a conservative hotel brand. So compared to what I just, like talked to you, that's why boutique hotel like W Hotel, Rise Hotel, L7 Myeongdong kind of hotel, when you just pay a visit to those hotels, just try to pay attention to the stuffs there again. Oh, one more hotel, Andaz in Gangnam, which opened last year. When you go there and then try to check, like the staffs, their hairstyle, their uniform, even their jewelry is totally different with the other hotels, like both 5-star full service. And then full service, it's literally full service. Grand Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, Lotte, so many hotels are belonging to this category. Full service means basically we provide a full service when it comes to rooms, when it comes to F&B, when it comes to event, when it comes to wedding, whatever, we basically provide whatever services we casted in the hotel. So think about Grand Hyatt. As I told you, there is a 615. It's considered the largest scale hotel. We have 8 restaurants, and then we have actually, we have almost 12 function spaces. So whichever request you need when it comes to hotel, basically we have all the capability to be provided. So those are kind of hotels we simply say full service hotel. But full service hotel is basically available only for 5-star hotel. So 5-star or above a 5-star hotel. Otherwise, lower categories of hotels are not really fully equipped by all those full services. Let's say economy hotel, I just, wrote here, Ibis Hotel, Holiday Inn, Sheila Stay. They have rooms, but you think about it, how many restaurants do they have? How many function rooms do they have? Maybe 1 or 2. Restaurant, maybe 1. So they actually focus on traditional part of hotel, which is rooms. But the rest of the part, like F&B, food and beverages, and event function, those kind of part are not really paid attention. So we say economy, just fully focused on the rooms. And extended, so-called residential apartment, residential hotel. So Fraser Place in, where is it? The Fraser Place near, I think, Seosomun. Yeah. Yeah, you know better than I do, actually. Yeah, Fraser Place and the Oakwood and Orakai. These kind of hotels are all we call extended or residence. Oakwood in COEX, there is a story. I think it has been already almost 20 years since Oakwood launched the hotel in COEX. But when Oakwood was about to launch their hotel, the brand in Seoul, there was a lot of negative points. And then a lot of, people in Korea were saying, no, I don't think that's going to be successful because who's going to stay in a hotel for a long time? Too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was very negative. Who's going to pay that much money to stay in a hotel for 1 month, 3 months, 1 year? No way. Nobody's going to pay that much money for just, like a residence. Because, by that time, seriously, that was true because, even, the travelers like us, people just take hotel as a just one night accommodation. They don't really try to pay money for the service, money for the facilities. They only try to pay the money for the bed. So we don't really take, like a expensive money value for the hotel. But residents, you think about it, everything is, like a hotel service, everything is fully furnished, everything is, like a service by the housekeeping, whatever, but very expensive. But you know what happened? It turns out to be very, very successful because of course there was challenge very at the beginning, but Korea itself has been really developed for the few decades, as you all are aware. For the past few decades, like 20, 30 years, Korea becomes, like one of the developed countries. So you think about it, nowadays we have so many foreigners, not as traveler, so many foreign expatriate stayed, like Bradley. Bradley case is a little different.
No.
I know.
I think for
Yeah, I know
Fraser
you're
Place,
not.
it's mostly CEOs and visiting foreign CEOs, not foreign professors.
Yeah, a
They're on
little
a different
different.
level.
But what I'm trying to say is like there are so many foreign expats, like we said, a lot of like we just have a lot of foreigners who's posted as a CEO or vice president or whatsoever kind of, and then there are so many foreign companies open the liaison office or a regional office in Korea. So which means there are so many like foreign expats coming to Korea, so they're staying there. But not only for Korea, not only for foreigners, these days, a lot of even Koreans are capable to spend that much money. Because whether you know or whether you agree, whether you sense or not, we have to admit, Korea itself is, like a really positioned in quite high ranking of, like a positioning in the global. So this is working. So nowadays there are so many residence hotels in Seoul compared to those days when I just mentioned Oku just launched it. And then motel. Motel in Korea sounds not good, right? Because we say, oh, I stayed in motel. We're trying to keep it high, right? We better say, oh, I stayed in hotel, but we don't try to say, oh, I was in motel last night. We don't want to say that, right? But motel, I don't know, Bradley, just correct me, because what I learned about motel, because when you go to like states, there's so many motel, because the states actually a few years ago, personally, I rented a car. So from the bottom line of California and up to the Washington. So I drove for 2 days. So to go to the Canada, the Mount Rocky. So that time I could find a lot of a motel, which means the accommodation by motorway, because the States is really, really huge country. So unlike Korea, let's just say in Korea, South Korea, from top to bottom, probably without break, you may just spend without traffic. Maybe it takes about 6 hours, maybe from top to bottom, so you can just finish. But the States, that's never gonna be possible, right? So you can find a lot of accommodation by the motorway. So just for one night accommodation. I think a motel, the name of a motel, I think comes from that concept. But ever since like that motel comes to Korea, indeed, when it comes to location, yes, motel normally is located by the motorway, but kind of like carrying the concept of what is that, like hidden accommodation, like a secret accommodation. Yeah. Kind of that. So, but basically the motel is not a negative, like a concept name. Indeed, motel is economy, limited service, motel, like kind of like one of a hotel. And then resort. In Seoul, maybe Banyan Tree, I can say it's a resort, even if it's located in the center of city, but I can say Banyan Tree is more like resort, because corporate traveler, I don't think they stay in Banyan Tree, because Banyan Tree itself is like a more carrying the resort, which means like a leisure concept. And then the hotels in Las Vegas, and then hotels in beach, and the hotels in Disneyland, and hotels in Universal Studio, and the hotels in islands. For example, like hotels in Jeju Island, maybe Jeju-si hotels are more like a city hotel, but like Jungmun Island, Jungmun area, maybe resort in Jungmun area, we call resort. Because business travelers are not really going there. Maybe business-wise, purpose-wise, people can go, but for incentive. Let's just say you're working in Samsung or maybe Samsung Insurance, so you achieved a great score among the team. So the company tried to incentivize you. Let's say, good job, well done. I'm gonna just like a tree. I'm gonna just like incentivize you. So I'm gonna send you to like such a great luxury resort for you to stay. So get rewarded, kind of that. So when it comes to that purpose, yes, still business travelers goes to resort, but when it comes to real business purpose, we normally don't go to the resort. So this is kind of like positioning. So you can imagine, depending on what hotels you are working in, as I just mentioned, even if I'm sales, right? What you have to do is totally different. Let's just say when I was in Dubai, I used to work in city hotel and followed by residence. Because, like in Dubai, there are so many residences. You know why? Not just because of the leisure or corporate, whatever. I'm sure you heard a bit about, Middle East. Middle Eastern people usually carry big family, not like us, because nowadays in Korea, father, mother, one or max two child, or sometimes three children like that. But in the Middle East, when you go to Dubai, Arab Emirates, or Qatar, Saudi, whatever, a big family. And then behind the story, because one guy can, like have maybe a couple of wives as well, but it should be very fair. So when you travel as like a man, you take first wife and second wife, and then children of first wives, children of second wife all together. So you think about it, because this normal hotel cannot accommodate, like max over 4 people, right? So Middle Eastern people usually prefer to stay residence type of hotel, like a 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, 4-bedroom apartment. So that was a quite interesting experience for me when I was in Dubai, because I never ever seen that many hotel apartments. So that was quite unique experience. And then when I was working in Malaysia, most of the hotels I was working was all the resort, like island resort. Let's just say I was not only working for one hotel, because I was working in kind of like a regional sales office. So that time, let's just say hotels I was working for was, let's say in Japan, Hokkaido ski resort. And then I don't know whether anyone who's been to Kota Kinabalu in Malaysia. So there was one resort as well. So I was working for that hotel as well. So resort I was working when I was in Malaysia and Singapore. Now I'm back to Korea. So as I told you, I'm working in Grand Hyatt Seoul, full service, full business hotel. But because of this COVID, I can't say Grand Hyatt Seoul is now carrying the business, because international travel has totally stopped. So for almost 1 year, we don't really see that many business traveler. Instead, we have to deal with mostly domestic leisure. I'm sure you know what I'm saying, because everyone here, we haven't tried flying to overseas for over 1 year. Maybe maximum we can do is like fly to Jeju. So a lot of people try to spend money in the hotel. So we have to deal with those, like a domestic leisure, which is very, very, like tiring, seriously. I better prefer to deal with the business traveler instead of dealing with, like individual leisure traveler. So let's just say, okay, back to this page again, as I told you, right? So I just talked about the categories of the hotels, right? So this is gonna be another deep down story, but not really gonna be much deep down, so everyone can easily understand. So depending on what kind of hotels you're working, as I just mentioned, right? So market segmentation is going to be defined. Market segmentation means it's very simple. So depending on what kind of market segmentation your hotel is belonging to, activity of your sales and business market is totally different. So the consumers and then the business, like groups, the kind of like the consumers you have to deal with also change it depending on, characteristics of the hotels in the market. So what that means, when I just share this things, I think it's gonna be easier. So depending on what kind of hotels you're working, and then by that, you can just, define what sort of, a market your hotel is belonging to. And then that's gonna define your target market. Let's say I'm a salesperson, right? I keep on saying that this is very important for me. Whenever I just, join the new hotel, or when I have interview with the interviewer of the hotel, I always, throw this question. What kind of like a market positioning your hotel is in? What is your competitor? What kind of like a market, or what kind of like a consumer is your main target? That's my basic question. You know why? Because as I told you, I'm a salesperson, so I need to know that. So once I get to know about what kind of like a market is target for this hotel, I need to think about whether I can work for this hotel, whether I'm gonna think about whether I'm gonna join this hotel or not, kind of that. So it means right customer, in order to find right customer and right service, you need to think about few criteria depending on the hotels. Let's say geographic. Simply saying whether your hotel is located in the city or island. Demographic. Let's just say your hotel is in an island. You think about it. How many people, how many residents, how many people living there? But in Seoul, simple. How many people are living there? Too many people. Not only just like people who are staying in the hotel. When it comes to Seoul itself, carrying a lot of people staying. That is also affecting the target market. And then that is related with either your hotel is focusing on business or leisure. So means this is going to be also related with, depending on, let's say once you just define, okay, my hotel is a city hotel located in city, and then we're going to target business, kind of that. Then next step is going to be, you have to define this kind of things. Length of stay. Length of stay means very, very simple and easy. Let's just say you have a plan to stay in Maldives, or let's just say Cebu or Fiji Island. You're gonna stay for one night? Never. You're never gonna stay for one night. Minimum 3 or 4 nights. And then Western people normally when they go there, minimum 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks. But unfortunately in Korea, by this current circumstances, Korean companies does not really allow us to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks holidays. So that's impossible. But anyway, so depending on the hotel segmentation, it's very easy. Length of stay. But let's say Grand Hyatt Seoul that I'm working in, of course, sometimes, I have guests who just stay for even few weeks. But basically, a lot of people are staying 1 night, 2 nights. They just, stay 1 night and they go to another city and come back and do 1 night again, kind of. But during COVID, this also changed. Let's just say, previously, for example, like I'm working for a Siemens company, and then I'm coming to Asian countries for a sales trip. And they normally, what they do, let's say 2 nights in Seoul, 2 nights in Japan, 2 nights in China, 2 nights in Taiwan, kind of. That was very common, like a schedule of a business traveler. But nowadays, do you think that's possible? No way. Quarantine, 14 days of quarantine. So that's no way. So what happened nowadays, they just, sometimes some business traveler may take a quarantine exemption certificate, but if they cannot, some essential traveler still take risk of spending 14 days in quarantine facility to do their job, and then check into the hotel and they stay for 3 weeks, 1 month, sometimes 2 months, until they finish all their pending jobs. They never go back because they know it's not easy for them to come back to Korea again. So that's different things, like during this pandemic. And then booking window means, again, same question. Let's just say you plan to go to Fiji Island. When do you plan to make a booking for the hotel? A day before? 2 days before? No, maybe a few months ago. Some people even make a booking for hotel when you travel to Fiji, maybe 1 year ago. But you plan to go to, let's just say, Grand Hyatt Seoul. Do you think you're gonna make a booking in Grand Hyatt Seoul 1 year ago? Never. Maybe at the earliest, a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes at the same day. I don't know whether it's true or not because I have a cousin. My cousin is actually like way younger than me. So he told me currently like youngsters, what is the habit for them? Let's say you guys, I don't know whether true or not. I was told when you go to Jeju Island or when you go to Gangwon-do or in kind of a leisure city, you don't make a booking for hotel. And then once you arrive that city, on the day itself, you open the application, view application, and then try to find the cheapest hotel. That's what I was told. I don't know how true that is. I was very shocked. So yeah, so that's what I was told. So that is kind of what we call booking window, yeah, when it comes to hotel terms. And then days of week, what that means, days of week are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the same thing. Let's just say your hotel is, like a targeting business traveler. Your days of week target is weekday, not weekend. You think about Gangwon-do. I have a friend who's working in Gangwon-do. He's crying because even before COVID, Gangwon-do is really, really busy on Friday and Saturday. And then with all of a sudden on Monday, it's empty. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, empty. And then with all of a sudden, Friday and Saturday, everyone comes to Gangwon-do. But in the city like Seoul, completely opposite. We are even busier during the weekday. Not only for business traveler. Let's just say I told you, just do you remember I said Grand Hyatt Seoul is a full service hotel, right? We said we provide, like not only rooms, but events and the function rooms and wedding kind of that, right? So, okay, wedding is already happening in the weekend. So during weekday, we also have a lot of business group, like conference, meeting, exhibition, kind of that. So basically, Grand Hyatt Seoul is busy during the weekday. And then lastly, cancellation, the same thing. Let's just say you made a booking in Fiji or Maldives, and then suddenly something happened to you, to your plan, so you'd like to cancel. Do you think, like the resort is gonna, let's say you try to cancel 2 days before your arrival, do you think the resort is gonna allow you to cancel without cancellation fee? No way, you have to pay for it, probably 100%. You know why? Because Fiji or Maldives can never ever fill that rooms within 2 days. Never ever, impossible. But Grand Hyatt Seoul or Hilton or the hotels in Seoul, Conrad, the same thing, Four Seasons, 48 hours. You can just cancel within 48 hours. Even if you just made a booking 6 months ago, suddenly something happened and then you'd like to cancel the hotel room 48 hours before, no cancellation fee, 100%. During COVID, Grand Hyatt Seoul even allow you to cancel 24 hours before. Very generous, right? Because we are desperate. So that's also the thing. So I'm sure, like, what I just talked about the positioning, right? So as I told you, as a salesperson, all this kind of criteria is related to what sort of sales I have to do. Simple. Let's just say I'm dealing with resort, targeting leisure, then maybe my main client would be travel agency, 여행사, 하나 tour, motor tour, kind of that, right? Maybe booking.com or whatsoever. But Grand Hyatt Seoul, as I told you, a totally business hotel. My client is a corporate. We have to just engage with as many corporate accounts as possible, or PCO. PCO means, like a planner, like event planner kind of that. So I'm sure, like you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is just kind of a simple story about what defines, like a sales target. Okay. So sorry, I think, what I have explained by now make you feel bored. Hopefully that was not that much boring. So yeah, but I think that was very, very basic story in order to talk about myself, because as I told you, I've been here in this industry for almost 16 years as a sales. So in order to explain myself, I was thinking I need to let you guys know what I'm doing, right? So as I just told you, that's basically what I'm doing. Before going to talking about hoteliers and sales, I want to just like tell you, a lot of actually friends of mine were asking me, because I entered the hotel industry when I was 29. So I didn't start, like a hotelier's career very early stage. So yeah, bit later. And then a lot of people were asking me, what is main reason I'm working in hotel industry? Of course, reality is totally different, right? I'm sure you know what I'm saying, because not only in this industry, in real life, everything is, like a little bit different with what you're dreaming, right? But still, I'm quite enjoying it as a hotelier, because when you just, let's say you work for Samsung engineering company or Samsung electronics, and then you want to just change your company, where do you think you can go? Maybe same industry or whatsoever, but you probably, let's say, if you change, like companies every 3-4 years, probably you're gonna be questioned. Maybe this person is not really patient. Why this person keeps on quitting the job? You know what I'm saying? But hotel industry is a little bit different as a sales, because let me just say this way. This is what I used to say. Starbucks and Coffee Bean, and then Paul Bassett. There are so many coffee brands. You know what I believe? If you know how to make coffee in Starbucks and Coffee Bean, and then you move to India, then probably you can be a better barista, because you know how to make different kinds of coffee. Likewise, in a hotel, what is most attractive for me, as I told you, there are all the hotels, but there are different types of hotel: resort, city hotel, residence, either in island, either in city hotel. Amazing. I could try so many types of a hotel with my career. My career continues to go on. And then whichever hotels, whichever, like industry, whichever, hotels I'm experiencing, my career gets, like a more developed, more bigger, kind of that. So yeah, that's the biggest thing personally I'm taking, being hotelier. Amazing. But what is challenge, if you ask me, hoteliers in sales, as I told you, right? I'm selling rooms, but do you think I can carry that room with me? Of course, I cannot take the room out. I don't have any, like visible product at hand. I have to just, like go out to the street to meet the client without product. My product is in the hotel. I cannot take it out. Seriously, my product is, like not visible, but still I need to go out. And then when I come back after a meeting from outside, let's just say, let's just say I have to sell a bottle of water. I have given 10 bottles of water, and then I go out with the 10 bottles of water, and then come back to the office. I can show my result. Today I sold, like 8 bottles of water, but still 2 left. It's very easy to be calculated, right? But to be honest, I didn't like that kind of sale, because I cannot do that. Because I was thinking, if I want to sell, for example, like a bottle of water, maybe I can beg you. For example, like, oh, Bradley, I need to sell 10 bottles today. Can you please buy this one for me? I can beg. But hotel room has nothing to do with whether you beg or not. Can you buy it for me? If you don't need it, you're never gonna buy it for me. Totally different. But that is also one of the reasons I like this job, because until Bradley thinks I need this room, until that moment, I need to make engagement and relationship with Bradley. So one day Bradley thinks, I think I need to make a booking for hotel. Which hotel I'm gonna make a booking? Oh yeah, Joanne. I have a Joanne. Joanne always looks for me. Joanne is my right contact. She's gonna help me and call me to make a booking. So of course, this is really, really simple story, but this is really, really basic story, what I'm doing and then what I like about this sales. So invisible and intangible process. So, you know, like one day what happened when I was in Dubai, my boss, I was really shocked. I was very stressed because when I try to make a phone call, sometimes the client is really, you know, like happily welcoming me. Sometimes they say, no, I have no chance to make a booking. We don't have any business traveler. No, kind of that. But you know what my boss told me? Every morning she pushed us to go out. And then she said one day, guys, of course I understand each and every day you cannot tie yourself, you know, like with the meetings every day. That's impossible. But it's okay. You go out, check the market. If you don't have any meeting, it's okay. You just go to, you know, like in the coffee shop and then take a cup of coffee and then just read a newspaper. It's okay. Maybe you can go home. You can take a sleep. Nobody cares. But bring me the business. How scary, right? So nobody's, you know, like watching me when I go out. But my boss said, it's okay. You can go home. You can sleep. No problem. But just bring me the business. In a way, probably what I just talked to you right now sounds very stressful, but no, that's the best part in what sales is doing, because you can be really proactive. You can control your time. I'm employed by the hotel, but I feel like I'm an owner of my shop. I can open, I can close my shop. I can be totally proactive. Isn't it nice? Yeah, that's the one thing. And then negotiator, hunter, or farmer, we say, this is not my word, this is what the market says. So when it comes to sales, we normally just, you know, like put two types of sales. Either you're a hunter or you're a farmer. Hunter is easy. Go out, kind of, you know, like find a client in outside, like hunting, you know, like the object. Farmer, once you have, you know, like existing clients, for example, sorry, Bradley, I keep on mentioning your name. So let's just say the Bradley is now my existing client. He's one of my target client. So I need to, you know, like really take care of him, even if he doesn't have any business for me right now, as if, you know, like I'm a farmer. I have sometimes water, I have just sometimes a feed, you know, like sometimes I invite him for lunch at the hotel. Sometimes, you know, I invite him for a cup of coffee at the lobby or whatsoever, like a farmer. Yeah, that's, you know, what we say, kind of a negotiator. But until the right timing is coming, we have to become either hunter or farmer. That's what sales is about. And then this is very simple, very, you know, like a tedious word, meeting anticipation, very simple. And then I need to find out what Bradley wants. Whether personally he wants, let's say, he's kind of like a person who always needs to exercise, like running or whatsoever. So maybe I can just give him kind of benefit of access to sauna or fitness, for example. Meeting anticipation. So we need to find out what the clients want. This is really funny, you know, because of course I have own team, because now I have agents, so I have my own team. So, you know, I have a different characteristics of, you know, like a team members. It's very, very, you know, like interesting to see my team member, because everyone is different, right? So the funny thing is, even when I just started a sales job, I couldn't really catch my client, what my clients want. And then I was so naive. What that means, when I was junior, whatever my clients say, I totally believe. I totally believe. But that happens to my junior staff again, but like as an experienced salesperson, whenever like I speak to my clients always carrying the hidden message inside. I can catch, not because I'm like super great, like anybody who has experience like me probably could catch, but every junior staff who's entering sales right at the beginning, they cannot catch, because you know why? They're very naive. At the same time, they are just very much focusing on servicing my client before being a salesperson, which is a good start. Because even sales, as I told you, negotiator, whatsoever, we all start from servicing our clients. So yeah, meeting anticipation is a very interesting part.
Joanne,
And then last, yeah.
just a quick question. One of the students asked, when you talk about hunter or farmer in sales, are you one or the other, or are they mutually exclusive? Like sometimes you normally are farmer, but sometimes because of the situation, you have to be a hunter for this month or next month and back and forth. Do you try to balance those, or more one of the other?
Yeah. Good question. A very good question. So yeah, when you get, let me tell you the quick story about that one. That's very good question. So depending on the hotels again, certain hotel, let's say, carries the sales department with a truly separate manning, hunter manning, farmer manning. But some hotels that carry salesperson with carrying both the function, both the hunter and farmer. So this is very good question. Let's just say one day you try to be a salesperson in a hotel. Of course, you're going to have an interview, right? Throw the question to the person who's interviewing you. In your hotel, so when it comes to sales, I'm going to be, let's just say hunter sales equals to, we say, proactive salesperson. Farmer, we say in other way, reactive salesperson. Let's just say farmer is kind of, a hunter is kind of like you go out to the street and pick up the business and throw it inside. Farmer, kind of reactive. You just receive the, like a lead gotten from the street, and then you just make it happen. But as I told you, this is depending on the hotel. Certain hotels, especially big hotels, carrying the sales department with completely separate manning, hunter, farmer. But yeah, a lot of hotels are carrying this function at the same time. So this is really good. Even if you are junior, when you have an interview with the hotel, you can ask a question. You can ask, because I heard there is, when it comes to sales, also in the proactive sales, reactive sales. So in your hotel, if I, become a salesperson, should I be proactive or reactive, or should I be, the salesperson to carry both functionality? You can ask that. I think if you ask that kind of question, I'm sure you're going to be hired. Oh my God, how can this person question, this kind of very good question? So you're gonna be hired. Let me bet you.
Two more questions that are related. So one, so when you think back, does it matter where you are in your career? Because I would think that the more experienced you are, you'd be more of a farmer because you're cultivating those relationships over a long time. But in the short term, more of or at the beginning of someone's career, or specifically we have a new project, we need to do this, then you're more switch into hunter mode of trying to get new clients or something specific to a project. The second question, that's a follow-up question. And then the second question was, somebody asked, they said, when you were looking for your job 16 years ago, how did you go about getting into the hospitality industry? So that's very different question.
Okay. The first question is also a good question. So as I told you, whether the hotel is operating the sales department with a totally separate function like a hunter farmer, still or not, still you have to be just experienced hunter sales right at the beginning. because that is very, very big. I think this is all the same because I have friends who's working in LG or Samsung or a big company, even in Korea. I never ever worked for the big entrepreneur companies, big enterprise, but I was told, even, like when you started working in Samsung, I was told for first few months, you have to go out. You have to sell yourself. That's very, very basic. I think, in a way, that's very stressful and that's very, very difficult when I recall back my first time. But now I'm thinking that was really good moment. You can just grow your gut and then grow your confidence and then kind of test yourself. Because once you just, test yourself, by trying proactive salesperson on the street, like a street sales. And then after that, you come back to the hotel, either being a still hunter or proactive or reactive. The way you deal with the client is going to be easier. So once again, I'm telling you, because this is totally depending on what kind of hotels. So it's all totally different. Either complete department, hunter, proactive, reactive salesperson. Let me give you JW Marriott Bampo. They just carrying the sales department completely different. Proactive department, reactive department, like that. Yeah, but Grand Hyatt Seoul, we don't have that, but we are a bit of different. We said like MICE, internet, because as I told you, Grand Hyatt Seoul used to receive a lot of international events. So we have actually separate department called MICE department and corporate department. So this is depending, once again, the same thing, this is related with the positioning, target market of your hotel. So depending on the target market of your hotel, how to run sales department define. Yeah. And then the last question, very interesting. Okay, so that's a story. This is sometimes whenever I just, get this question, why I'm a little bit hesitating, in a way, very interesting, but in a way, I'm a little worried whether I'm gonna give wrong impression, because as I told you, I ran into hotel industry when I was 29 in Dubai. When I was in Korea, I was just kind of ordinary, one of a Korean person who used to work Korean companies. And then as a woman, I can see a few women here like that. When I became 29, because I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. And then I was really, had a deep thought, kind of like, should I get married? Should I continue to work at that time I was working for a trading company. Should I continue to work for this company? Is this right job? Is this, like a really, really permanent, career I have to go? I was too many questions to myself. I think 100% sure this is what all of us been through in the past. So, and then that time, one of my friends whom I met in Australia, Weston, the guy from Switzerland, he got a job in Dubai. And then that time, accidentally, I came to know the name of Dubai. But at that time, when I was Googling the Dubai, I couldn't find that much information, only about Saddam Hussein. I don't know whether you know about Saddam Hussein.
That's Iraq.
Iran, Iraq, like Iran-Iraqi war and everyday kind of this. So I could only find the political information from the Google or from Naver. And then I just asked like a few of my connects about Dubai, how Dubai is. And then, from the Western part of the world, Dubai already started, being spotted. It's really under development. So that was kind of that moment, it made my heart a little bit beating. Nobody knows Dubai, but now I know Dubai. Oh my God, that sounds like a little bit, for me, blue ocean. For example, like in the States, in Korea, Bradley, and then that you guys know, a lot of Koreans go to the States for study, right? There are so many Koreans. So I was a little bit inconfident. Let's just say, "Ah, do I have to compete with all those, like Koreans in the States if I go to the States?" And then suddenly I came to know the name of Dubai. Nobody knows. This is the right opportunity for me, blue ocean. And I went there. And then there was a good start, but of course it was not easy. Make it short, long story, make it short. Of course, yeah, my gut, my confidence, brought me to Dubai. But yeah, seriously, I was literally one and only Korean single woman in that community. So it was not really easy to get a job, but yeah, I got a job after almost, like a 4 month. And then for the first few months, I only just, sent an email to each and every hotel. Even if I didn't work at a hotel, when I was 20s, I was always dreaming to be a hotelier. Maybe, I don't know, I was affected by the drama at that time. There was a miniseries, like a Korean soap opera called The Hotelier. So I was affected, to be honest. So yeah, I kept on trying. And then 3 months later, I couldn't even get single interview chance. No hotels even called me to just come to and then have an interview because I think I was not really interested because the one and only Korean single woman. And then after 4 months, what I did? I printed out all my CVs. And then, to be honest, I never gonna do the same thing if I go back. I don't know, maybe that time I was crazy. I paid a physical visit to each and every hotel in Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah, so I gave my CV resume to hotel, but through security guard, through front office, through concierge. Yeah, kind of that. But anyway, so yeah, once again, long story, I'm making sure. So many stories. And then after 4.5 months, I got an opportunity to have an interview with Dusit. Dusit is a Thai chain. I think in Korea, Dusit Guam is, I think, the most popular. So yeah, I got a job in there in Dusit. So that's how I started. So that's why when I told you very at the beginning, someone is asking me how I entered hotel industry. In a way, it's very interesting, but in a way, I'm a little bit hesitating. The reason is why, because guys, I'm not pushing you to try what I've done. You have to,
Joanne,
yeah.
that's a perfect kind of segue into one of the questions was, well, what advice would you give to young professionals that would like to go into the hotel industry?
Thank you for that question, because hotel industry, as I told you, to be very honest, in Korea, ever since I came back, to even if Korea culture gets changing every day by day through you guys, through you young generation. But don't forget, 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, even your luxury hotel, whatsoever, hotel means the service industry. We are the one who's delivering the service. Don't just, don't be confused. Even if you're working in Signal or Four Seasons, you are not Conrad, you are not Four Seasons. So likewise, let me just show you the last page of this. I think, what I'm gonna tell you now is gonna be related with the answer over what you just asked me. Okay, this phrase is very, very famous phrase, from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. There are not that many Ritz-Carlton hotel in the world, but the Ritz-Carlton, I'm actually personally, I'm very, very sorry because Ritz-Carlton in Korea failed and then they just, withdrew many years ago. But Ritz-Carlton, the brand itself is still, it's really, taking high positioning in the world. We are, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. From the beginning until now, this is the phrase always beating, make my heart beating. Because depending on how you read this phrase gives you a lot of messages. What I'm trying to say, we are ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. Where is your focus on? Let's just say if you focus on yourself as ladies and gentlemen, then you probably make a claim about your client. Oh shit, bullshit. This client's really shit. 진상, worst client. Yeah, kind of that. Oh my God, how dare. Because you think you are ladies gentlemen. You think you're working for luxury hotel. You think you're working for Four Seasons Signia. But I have to say personally, excuse me, you have to pay attention to the ladies gentlemen at the last. We are serving ladies gentlemen. In order to meet the decent client, ladies and gentlemen, you have to look at yourself first, whether you are already ladies and gentlemen. So which means whichever hotels, whichever, like a target marketing, whichever department you're working in, we have to be ladies, gentlemen, we have to deliver service. You know what that means? This is what my old boss is saying that, Joanne, why all the guests who's entering the hotel becomes demanding? Why everyone is so demanding? Very easy. They should demand because, Joanne, they stay only one night in hotel, but they have to pay few $100. 몇십만 원? Isn't it too expensive, Joanne? They have right to be demanding. That's what my old boss told me. That was really kind of like really ding, kind of like really hit my head. Ah, true. They pay the money for service, which is invisible service. Mm-hmm. They do not pay the money for the room or bed or pillow. They pay the money for the service. So my boss said, each and every one of this hotel, either you're working for sales, housekeeping, concerts, engineering, HR, doesn't matter. We are all here to serve one guest who's entering the main gate. And until now, that is the biggest reason I'm working. So what I'm trying to say is that whoever, like here would like to, whoever here plan to be a hotelier, please don't forget about this one. Let's just say, I'm sure you and I just work for the whether luxury hotel, whether big hotel, whether bigger brand, right? I respect that point, but don't forget, you are not that brand. You have to make yourself as a brand to be ladies gentlemen, to meet decent client. I don't know whether this, like becomes the right answer, but yeah, that's what I really want to share about my experience, and then to the people who's planning to be a hotelier in the future.
Well, Joanne, thank you very much. Can you stop sharing the PowerPoint? There actually is a lot of questions, but we're a bit over time, so I'm just going to mention a couple of them. So could you stop sharing? I want you to be able to see everybody. I'll let you choose one of the questions to answer, the last question. We have, could you please describe your normal daily routine? Like, what's it like being a director of sales or a sales manager at a hotel? Another question was, what do you think are the core competencies that the Grand Hyatt or other luxury hotels, what do they look for when hiring somebody? Because I'm sure everybody's going to be focusing on wanting to get a job. So, what would you suggest to them to be able to highlight when trying to get a job? Another question was, you mentioned the importance of digital marketing. What do you do, or what does your company do for digital marketing now? Do you use outside agencies or freelancers? Another question was, what kind of marketing research do you do? What kind of techniques to better build your strategy? And then there was one more. Those were the last like 5 questions. But if you could just choose one of them that you want to talk about, and then we'll finish after, we'll wrap it up. Sorry, what was the first question? What was could you describe your working day? Like just in general, what you normally would do? You mentioned a little bit about that, but and then the core competencies of what the Grand Hyatt or the Hyatt brand usually looks for in hiring somebody. Okay, let me just answer you very quickly. So maybe
try to be answering to all these questions. Okay, routine life, as you know, like Bradley mentioned, I already have a bit of, like a shared, because when I go as a director of sales, doesn't matter whether, like I'm a director of sales or a sales manager, sales, whatever. Daily routine life is kind of like you have to, follow the lead, because basically we are the salesperson. So everything is, like started based on the relationship with the client, even new client or old client or whatever, because our life is starting from the answering the request. That's a start. And then in order to follow up the request when needed, we have to make an appointment to go out. Sometimes we invite them for entertainment, like, like having lunch or having coffee, having dinner in the hotel. One thing good about being a salesperson, sales executive, even if you are carrying the junior position, you are the only person who can officially invite your clients, like to entertain at the hotel. So, but yeah, but don't overuse it. So you're gonna be hated by other department. Okay, so that's the one thing. And then what is the core competency? Yeah, good question. So when you have a plan to be interviewed by other hotel, try to Google, try to find out what is, like a brand message of each hotel. Let's just say, since I'm working for Hyatt, for example, like a Park Hyatt in Seoul, there are 3 Hyatt: Park Hyatt, Grand Hyatt, and Andaz. Let me just give you a real story. I have, like one student, because I used to do, like this kind of session with another hotel, another university. I have one student. Okay. She got a job opportunity. She got an interview opportunity with Andaz. You know what she did? She's a really, really good student. She's a really good student, but she tried herself, to be neat as possible. She wore the black suit, and then she just tied up her hair like with a ponytail. Very good. And then she went to Andaz. Try to Google what Andaz is. As I told you, it's a boutique hotel. It's kind of funky hotel. It's not really trendy or a traditional hotel. Everyone is just like pulling hairs down, like a really kind of like a bit of a loose and, like a uniform kind of thing. And then she's looking like, so what HR told her? Indirectly, oh, you look like, coming from Joseon 시대. You know what I'm saying? So as a junior, when you plan to have an interview with them, of course, they're probably not going to question you a lot of professional question. Just, like, for example, like I'm the one who used to have interviewed, like a junior staff, right, to hire. I don't really throw that many professional questions to my junior staff who just entering. But firstly, I'm just like checking whether this person is already studied about my hotel, whether they spend some time to get to know the hotel they are trying, or they just trying as just like a routine interview. That's the main thing. And then the second thing is showing your passion, why you want to be a hotelier. But the first thing I think is very important. Before you go to that hotel, please just make a simple Googling what hotel is for. At least you should know about that. Hopefully this helps you. And then about digital marketing research. And then in hotel, maybe digital marketing department is one of the department which is least related with hotelier. What I'm trying to say is like, even if, like even if digital marketing is, like inside hotel, even if you have experience from another hotel, you still can apply for this digital marketing. For example, like we have staffs who came from the luxury brand, like a Chanel, well, kind of that. So digital marketing, you don't really need to, like the limit yourself in terms of hotel only. Digital marketing, you can just, like a marketing knowledge is most important. And after that, you have to pull your knowledge into the hotel, how you link your digital marketing knowledge to hotel, how to sell, how to promote hotel. But once again, digital marketing and marketing itself, this department, you don't really need to push yourself to be a hotelier. Basically, you're going to be a hotelier, but what they are doing is a bit different within a hotelier because they don't really deal with the client. They rather deal with the promotion and agencies and kind of that. So if you don't have even hotelier background, but you want to be, like a marketer of the hotel, go for it. Doesn't matter.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Like we did for the first class, if you can, go down to the reaction, click on put a reaction up on your screen real quickly, and then I'm going to take a quick little photo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, now actually like I can breathe. To be honest, I don't know how I looked like, but I was very nervous. You guys, you didn't know.
No, thank you. It was excellent. There was a couple of comments that were sent to me directly that said you're an excellent storyteller, and it was very good. Very happy. Just a quick note to my hotel management class. Once we finish here, I'm going to open the link for my hotel management course. So if you can come in, we're going to have a very short session. I just want to brief you for a few minutes, and then we'll finish early. But I want to thank you very much, Joanne, for sharing your time and your story with us. And if everybody give a nice goodbye and a thank you very much.
Thank you so much for such a lovely
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Later.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you
very much.
So I'll see you, my hotel management students. I'll see you immediately after this. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.